All right, we are back live with another Cardboard Corner. After Chris and Che took the week off, Che and Tom had the Tom Che show, and it was amazing.
I had so much fun.
So we are so happy to be here this week. Chris Goldline Cards, Che with ENS Sports Cards, and our special guest this week, everybody knows him, the Rack of the Day man himself, Eric Hecker. Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm good, guys. Hey, I appreciate you allowing me to crash the party tonight.
Awesome. Going to have a great time. Che, how are we doing? Excited for the Reds?
I thought you were going to say excited for the show, and I was like, yes. And you dropped the Reds on me. No, I'm not excited for the Reds. Oh, we'll talk about that later. No, but I'm excited to be talking to Eric tonight, man. Man, you do so many good things in this hobby, Eric. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So I'm excited. Went through a little bit of a Twitter and hobby lull kind of, just last week. I think, Eric, it might have hit you too a little bit last week. But
it did.
I think I'm back. I took a few days where I didn't disconnect completely, but I backed away for a little bit, and I'm back and ready to go tonight. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, I was right there with you. I'm kind of still there. We'll talk about this later too, I'm sure. But yesterday really lifted my spirits a little more, and yeah, I'm pulling back around. That's for sure.
Yeah, cool.
And I had a small special surprise that I'll talk about later that kind of fell through right at the end, but it's still super awesome to talk about. So, Eric, just to let you guys know and everybody who's watching, of course, I got my AOL 1949 printer downstairs that doesn't want to work. So I do apologize. I keep looking down. I'm not disinterested. I'm just looking at my notes because normally here's my notes. But as you can see, I have nothing here. I got my Claire pen, which was with me always. But, first thing we want to talk to you about is the Ribbon for the Cure. We know last year Scott from Minuteman Tickets came on already. You and Smash, or he came on with Smash to talk about some things Rippin' Gypsy's doing. And I know you're kind of headlining a whole bunch of people who are getting together. Could you tell us about the Rippin' for the Cure?
Yeah. Thanks for letting me talk about it a little bit. I mean, Rippin' for the Cure, if you don't know, it's to benefit the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. And one thing I always want to make sure that people do understand is, because I get it quite a bit, is I do work for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, but what I am doing with Rippin' for the Cure, it's all personal. This has nothing to do with my quote unquote job. But yeah, I mean, last year with COVID and everything, things really took a dive fundraising wise. And I fell back into the hobby as a distraction. And I actually found Mindy and Smash by accident through Eloy. And I saw some excitement going on in their room. And I took a shot in the dark and asked them if they'd want to do a fundraiser. And you guys know them. They jumped on board right away. And beyond my wildest dreams, we raised over $14,000 last year in a matter of 6 weeks, which, was a huge success. This year, we're beyond that already. We still have 2 months to go. And we have 20 hobby partners, 4 sponsors, Partridge in a Pear Tree, and anybody else that wants to join that are helping us out. And actually right now, RSR Cards and Collectibles are doing an auction on their site. Deafness 45 is doing one tomorrow night. I just watched a video by Jimmy Guns. Apparently he's planning something as well. But it's just been really great to see. And this year I've questioned it more than I did last year, because last year I was relatively new and now I'm kind of knowing people. But my question is, why are people doing this? Like, you don't know me. Nobody knows me. Nobody in my estimation understands to the fullest extent what Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis really is. So why is it this that people are coming together on? And I've decided that it's just the people, it's the hobby, it's what they do, and they come together for, to support one another. And I want to see this continue, not only with what we're doing with Rippin' for the Cure, but Chris, I mean, with Special Olympics, that's huge. I mean, that's something that it holds a special place in my heart, and we could talk about that offline at some point. I mean, I jumped into the Atlantic Ocean for years supporting Special Olympics, so it's something that I enjoy. Scott Berger, I don't know if you follow him on Twitter or not, but he does the brain tumor awareness. I've started talking to him a little bit today about it, and I want to see these things continue. I want people to succeed. I want money to be raised, and all facets. And this is the right people to do it. And I'm just really excited for everyone to join.
Absolutely. When you say the people, you're talking about how we did the Special Olympics. I did the American Heart Association last year before I knew anybody, before I knew anything. And it was just the people in the hobby. My daughter, Claire, raised over $1,000 selling Claire cards.
Yeah.
Like cards that she paints on and donates to people. She wasn't selling them. All the money went to American Heart Association. But you're absolutely right when you say it's like, why are these people doing it? Because these people are awesome. I mean, don't you agree, Che? It's the people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think deep down, I mean, we can get frustrated with people in the hobby and some of the toxicity we see, but deep down, I think people are, for the most part, they want to help, they want to do something good, and that's how Chris and I became friends. His American Heart Association thing. I didn't know him from Adam, but I knew the American Heart Association held a special place in my heart. It impacted me personally. So I saw he was doing that. I kind of reached out to him, said, hey, I'd like to donate. And just because, he made it easy. I mean, here's something I can donate to. I can feel good about myself. And I didn't have to put forth really any effort. I didn't do any organization or anything like that. Chris was doing it. You guys are doing it. By the way, kudos on the organization and the project management that has gone into this Ripping for the Cure. Dude, top notch. I mean, absolutely top notch. You guys have done an amazing job. But it's a way that we can feel good about ourselves, and then make those. I mean, I've made a lifetime friendship, with Chris, through that. So yeah, I mean, I think, no matter what else is going on in somebody's, whether they're complaining about this or fussing about this or they're angry about this, here's an opportunity for me to contribute in a small way that I can feel good about myself. And, my fear was, gosh, there's so many of these going on, right? Donate here. But man, people just do it and they love to do it. And I do it every chance I get. Sometimes I feel bad that I don't have more that I can give, but it sure does make me feel good. So I think that's kind of replicated across the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, people just want to feel good about what they're doing, and I mean, this definitely does, and I'm right there with you. I wish I could do more for people, because I see it all the time, and I always have to kind of pull myself back and say, and remind myself, $1 is better than nothing. I mean, if I go past it and I say, I just can't do it, I have to look at myself in the mirror every day and think, okay, I could have gave $1. Somebody needs $1. That $1 is going to go to something worthwhile. So I agree with what you're saying. And that's one of the fears that I had too going into this last year. I mean, when I talked to Smash about this, I was like, I don't even know what to set a price on. Cause I mean, we have the mega break this year. It's on May 22nd. I'm like, I don't know what to set a price on this. What's the hobby go for? And he's like, yeah, we Rippin' Gypsy, we try to keep things under $50. I'm like, all right, well, let's do $50 for a spot. And, I still get nervous about that today. I'm like, gosh, are people really going to purchase, a spot in a random for $50? But I think when we tell people, like right now we have close to 60 items that we're breaking that night, it's kind of a no brainer at that point in time. But it makes me nervous at times, and that's why we try to come up with these other ways for people to get in, because, like with Deafness tomorrow night, I mean, I expect he's going to raise, quite a bit of money, and our partners are aware that they can either keep the spots themselves that they earn through the donation, or they can give them to other folks in their stream, so there's all kinds of ways that people can get into this thing. And, I'm just blessed that I was able to hook up with the right people at the right time to do this.
And both you guys make great point about, it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good as well. And I don't even care if it's selfish to say, like, if I racked Che some Devin Mesoraco cards and I knew that was special to him, but you know what? That makes me feel good too. Like, I can feel good knowing that I made Che feel good. And I won't say this person's name, but some people in the comments will know exactly who I'm talking about because it deals with one of them. They asked me if, and we talked about it before, can I have such and such address? I want to send him something, or I have a buddy who wants to send him something. Well, I'm not just going to give you someone's address. I'm going to go ask them. So I asked this person, hey, a buddy of mine wants your address. They want to send you something. He writes me like 6 or 7 different DMs. It's like, hey, like you guys said, I got something going on in my life. I really, I send it to somebody else. Somebody else needs a card. I get enough stuff. I get this. Then like 2 hours later, he messages me again. Says, you know what? Somebody wants to do something nice for me. Who am I to say no? Like just here, give him my address and here it is. You're a good friend. Thanks for listening. I'm like, I'm asleep. I'm not listening to anything. I wake up, this morning to like 6 messages, and it's just them talking to themselves, talking it out. And he literally says, why would I tell somebody they can't do something nice for me? Like, that's what it is. It's not me rejecting the gift because, I got enough stuff. Like people send my kids stuff all the time. They send me stuff all the time. And Eric, I've said to you that like, the rack of the day stuff that we'll get into. A lot of people say, hey, give it to somebody else. Oh, Eric went away.
Just lost Eric. Hopefully he gets back on.
Well, people say, the rack of the day, give it to someone else, give it to someone else. Like, no, I want it, whatever I get, because it means so much to me that it's coming from this cause, coming from Eric. That's one, I don't enter the contest, the giveaway. It says tag 3 friends and you'll get, 3 boxes. Like, I don't enter those. But like, this is one that I will absolutely, take all the time.
Yeah. I actually blogged about that very topic a couple of weeks ago. How hard it is for us to, like you said, your buddy that you just talked to was like, no, tell him to give it to somebody else. I think we all do that. Not all of us. I mean, obviously there's some folks that don't, but a lot of us have trouble. I sent you a message, said, man, I got another rack today, and I don't know what to do. I wish people would stop sending me stuff. I don't want to feel like I feel like I'm getting too much, and I shouldn't be getting this. It's like every day I'd go to the mailbox and there's just another handwritten note that says, thank you for what you do for the hobby. I thought this should be yours. And it's hard to accept that. But if somebody reaches out to you and they have thought of you and they've taken the time to want to give you something, then you should accept that. And because we all give and we know how good giving makes us feel. And that person's trying to do the same thing. They're trying to give to you to make themselves, to give themselves some fulfillment because they found something that they know you would like and they want to send it to you. And who are we to rob them of that joy of being able to give? So that's hard to do. It was hard for me to do. I still catch myself saying, no, please don't. Not for me. Give it to somebody else. Pay it forward to somebody else. Send it. Don't send it to me. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better at just saying, thank you. That's awesome. I really, really appreciate it. So, yeah.
And Eric's having some technical difficulties. I resent him the link again. So hopefully he can jump back in. But you're talking about that, and it goes along the line with what Smash was talking about, is what showed up at my house today? I'm working on the Cooper Cup 2020 optic for my son Cooper. His birthday's coming up. I wanted to give it to him for his birthday. And the Aqua out of 299 is a card that I didn't have. And he DM'd me like a week and a half ago, said, hey, do you have this card? I said, no, I'm bidding it on eBay. He said, me too. Stop bidding. He's like, don't bid against me. So he won. He had it sent to my house. And then, like on his birthday, he had the birthday thing where he matched every donation to the Crohn's and Colitis
That was
Foundation.
amazing.
So
that was awesome.
we talk about like the good. It is just the people. Now, Eric, we want to talk to him about his rack of the day and his blog. Oh, he's jumping back in right now. So perfect. Let's get him back in here.
While he's jumping back in, I will say we were mentioning earlier, and it just kind of dawned on me, we talked about how, people love to feel good about themselves and, we're surprised about how much they donate. But when you think about it, I mean, this hobby is a hobby of disposable income, right? I mean, it is. So when I see Eric say, hey, for a $25 donation, you can be entered in, this drawing, or I see somebody, needing $10, I can look and say, man, that's less than a blaster of Heritage. I can forego one blaster of Heritage to give to this, So I think that helps make it successful in this hobby because it is a hobby of disposable income. And if you see something that you can see, tops hanger, $10 to this organization. Let me give the $10 to this organization. That'll make me feel better than ripping that hanger of tops. So I think that helps in this particular community.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, what we were getting into was the rack of the day. And that's kind of where we got dropped off. And Shay and I continued on a little bit. Not sure if you got to watch any of it or you were just trying to get back on. But we were to see if you could have some time to talk about the rack of the day thing that you're doing, the blog that you put on. And then we're going to talk about Shay's blog as well. So can you tell us about the rack of the day and the blog you do?
Yeah, if I can go back to Ripping for the Cure for 1 minute.
Sorry, yeah. My apologies.
I have a couple of announcements that I wanted to make tonight that's kind of affecting things and get the word out. So the first thing is I was struggling. How do we get people involved? The $50 price point might be too high for people, so we want to make sure people are getting involved. So there's 3 things that I want to get out there. First, we're still looking for items to break that night. So if people want to donate an item, they can reach out to me on Twitter. They can reach out to Smash or Rippin' Gypsy on Twitter. But if you donate an item, that's going to earn you 1 spot into the random for the break that night. The second thing is last year we had some real success in people just stepping up and auctioning off items on Twitter. We recently, Buck City Breaks did one. There was a JJ Watt helmet at the start of this whole thing. And we gave the spots away to the buyer. This year, what I want to do is give the spots away to the buyer, but also reciprocate and give the spots away to the seller as well, because that's money technically coming out of their pocket too. So I want to make sure they're getting those. And then the third way, and I've been putting it out there on Twitter over the last few days, opening day this week, I'm doing a mini break myself. I have 9 items going on. There's retail cards, there's hobby cards. I have memorabilia, different things like that, but it's $25 a spot to get in the random tonight through Wednesday evening. So midnight Wednesday, that $25 not only will get you a spot into the opening day mini break, it's also going to get you a spot into the mega break random too. So for these next 48 hours, $25 is going to take people a long way and do something really good. So I'll stop there, guys.
All right. Well, are we ready to move on? Do you want to hit more on Ripping for the Cure, or?
No, we're good. Ripping for the Cure. Thank you for letting me talk about that.
All right. So, well, we did want to talk about the blogs that you two fine gentlemen do. Shay, why don't we go ahead and go with yours first, since Eric just, we'll take turns here. Yeah. It's an equal opportunity show here we're doing. So, you two fine gentlemen do your blogs. Jay's got some guest people coming on. Why don't you tell us about what you're putting together, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I started a blog, iansportscards.com, and I really didn't know where I wanted to go with it. I just knew I loved to write, and so I started off the first couple weeks. I wrote 4 or 5 different pieces, but then I really wanted to get it out there. I wanted people in the hobby to share with me their stories of why they collected and why and what brought them to the hobby and what their passion was about. And so I put it out there. Hey, anybody want to share their story with me? And my 4 of my 5 last entries have been guest entries. I'm calling it stories from the inbox. And it's just been amazing to see, how people open up. How good of writers some people are. We got a young man watching us tonight, Dylan. Man, that kid wrote an amazing piece that I put on the blog. And then, Garrett, IT guy, he's so proud of his son Parker, and you could just see it in what he wrote, the pride in his son, and it really showed through. And then Wes, I don't know if Wes is watching tonight. Wes,
he was in here. I don't know if he's in here anymore, but
he and I had some back and forth DMs. His entry, he sent me, a short little piece. He's like, look, I'm not a lengthy guy, but I wanted to share with you my story and please share it. And then between the time he submitted it and the time I posted it, we had some really, that opened up a dialogue between us that we had some really heartfelt conversations, and he was okay with me sharing some of that. So I kind of added to what he had sent me, and I added my part into that. Yeah. So this has been amazing. If you're watching out there and you want to share your why I collect story, because I kind of hit a roadblock, and that's going to transition me into what I was going to say. I made that blog because I love to write, and I love to write about the hobby. But after I posted 4 or 5 things that were initially on my mind, when I would sit down, I thought, okay, what can I write that'll get views, right? And I was trying to manufacture something, and I wasn't able to. I just wasn't able to come up with anything because it wasn't. I was trying to make myself write something, and it just didn't work. I was looking back. For some reason, I got on my Twitter analytics today, and I posted something yesterday. I posted a photo of Topps flagship gravity packs at a local convenience store. And within an hour, or it was like 3 hours, the thing had 100 likes and like 10 retweets and all kinds of comments. And I'm like, it's just a simple post about Topps flagship at a gas station. But then I got looking back, and like 5 of my top 6 tweets ever were simple stuff. I tweeted a picture of some Mike Greenwell 1987 Topps one time, like 12 of them. It's like I was 12 years old and I was going to be rich. That's all the tweet was. 300 likes. And it got shared. It had like 40,000 impressions. And what I realized is when you're true to yourself, and you can't manufacture something, it's just got to be something that represents who you are. And when whether it's a blog post or you're tweeting, when I stopped really caring about shiny and autographs and new and serial numbered, and I got into this true niche that I'm in now of just being happy collecting the cards that I missed as a kid, my Twitter following tripled. And I wasn't posting, follow me for this, follow me for that, enter, here I'm giving this away, but you got to follow me to win. I just started tweeting about stuff that I loved, and that was in my heart. And when I did it, my following grew. And the simplest little tweets that I tweet out there that you would never think would amount to anything kind of blow up. So that gets me back to the blog. I fell into the trap of trying to write something, that wasn't true to myself. And I was just running into a kind of a roadblock. But my next blog will probably be about what I just talked about. And I think I can write that about, just how if you're true to who you are, that's the way you should do your Twitter. That's the way you should do your life. And if you're passionate about it and you love it, people will like it. They'll view it. They'll comment. And so that's just kind of where I'm at. My blog is it's from the heart. It truly is. It's just only reason I do it is because I love this hobby and I love to write. So I just put the two together. But I do my 365, my tribute, my 365 day tribute to collecting. And Eric, man, some days even that little post, I can't really find the motivation to find something good. So then I thought about you and your 365 rack of the day. And man, have you ran into that a little bit? Have you found some difficulties?
I did, but I want to make a comment real quick on your picture you posted yesterday, and at least why I liked it and shared it and everything. It took me back to 1988, 89 when I walked into my local grocery store with my father, and I saw the racks of cards sitting there, and I could buy one for 49 cents.
Yeah.
That's what I love about your posts. Is it takes people like me. I'm 39 years old. Takes me back to that time when I remember the hobby was the true hobby.
Yeah, that's why that's what my Why I Collect is all about. Is just that's what makes me happy is those memories of when I was a child, and it's resonated. I've seen so many more. You've talked about how you're doing your Thurman Munson now, and I've seen so many more people tweet their career collections. So I think there's always going to be a place for that in this hobby because that's what it's founded on. That's what it's based on. We've grown and, shiny and autographs and all this is all the rage, but at its core, that's what this hobby's about. So I think that's why it'll always resonate.
And it needed somebody like you to bring everyone back to that reason. Why did they first get into this?
Yeah.
because I don't know anybody. Maybe there are people, I'm sure there are, but I don't know anybody that hopped into the hobby and said, I'm going to get rich off of this.
Those are called investors. Those aren't collectors. They're
Right.
not in the hobby.
Right.
They're the ones who are posting their slabs and trying to, nothing against that, different strokes for different folks, but
Right.
people are trying to just make this money.
Yep.
And that's all they want to do.
Yeah.
But those people don't have 21 Jesse Winker cards.
Hey, you're
Talk
about to
about
have
why I collect. Kelly from Kelly's Cards sends my daughter a Frozen Blaster and 21 Jesse Winker cards. She is so excited to go see Jesse Winker. She doesn't know it yet, but we made her a personalized t-shirt. The iron-on stuff says Jesse's Girl on it and 33 and his number. And they don't have autographs or anything right now, but he may message her on her birthday. We've messaged a few times back and forth, so hopefully one time this year we can actually meet him. But
that's really cool.
Eric, you were about to talk about your rack of the day and your blog.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of where you're at right now too with the blog piece. Like, I've hit a roadblock. It's been a long roadblock, and honestly, it was because of work, and life. I mean, it got in the way, and I just haven't had a moment to really think about what I wanted to write about. But I did at one point come to a crossroads of, oh my God, how am I gonna do this for 365 days a year? Because I had everything planned out, and then I don't know, I just started getting crazy and just giving stuff away, multiple times a day, which is fine. It is what it is. But the main reason I started the blog and the main reason I'm putting it all out on Twitter is it's keeping me accountable, because I feel like if I miss a day, I'm going to feel bad, but I also think someone's going to call me out on it, which is fine. I mean, if I ever miss a day, I want someone to call me out and I'll make it up. But yeah, I mean, the blog just kind of goes along with it. The whole rack of the day thing, when I started it, and you watched my video I posted last week. I started this because, I mean, last year just sucked in so many different ways. And I wanted to just start doing something that felt good to me. And that's what this was. And it really started out as I just want to give somebody something. And then it quickly evolved into that something I'm giving means nothing compared to the recognition that people are receiving. I think the three of us probably here, we could care less if we ever receive any type of recognition for anything, but we want to be able to recognize people. So, I mean, that's really what it is, in the scheme of things. I never set any journey out for what the blog was going to be. Originally, I think it was going to be more like, just going on top of things that I've seen throughout the week and whatnot. But now I'm trying to just settle in on some topics that are, like you, Che, just more relevant to me, and they come straight from my heart.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about your rack of the day. I got three things, I guess. One, if you ever feel like you need to take a weekend or need to take, everybody needs a day off. Reach out to me. I'll guarantee reach out to Chris, reach out to somebody in this hobby and say, hey man, can you take it for me this weekend? Somebody will keep it going for you. So just know that. Two, I've been a recipient of your rack of the day, and I got that card right here. It is on display proudly in my office. I mean, I love that card. But I have 3 times now, my nominee has gotten the rack of the day, and that made me feel so much better than when I got the card. So I mean, I can tell you it's been 3 times, and I'm looking forward to the 4th time because I'm like, yes. I mean, that gave me such a sense of satisfaction. So if you're out there watching, if you watch this later, I'm telling you, nominate somebody. Now, Eric wants to recognize people who are doing good things, and I'll let you segue into that because I think that's part of your frustration that you hit last week. This is not just hey, my buddy, likes free stuff. He likes to enter this kind of stuff. We're trying to recognize people who really do good in the hobby, and I know that's kind of I think ran into some of that "what about me"ism that was going on. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I did. I ran into it, and it bubbled over last week. It had been going on for a few weeks, and I think they finally caught on because I've noticed that it stopped. That it's not a giveaway. It's not I like free stuff and just give it to me. It truly is about recognizing people, and it's not only just what they're doing in the hobby; it's outside the hobby too. Dub mentality. I racked him the other day because he was raising some funds for his daughter's school, and the cool thing about that is he didn't want it. So he passed it on to somebody, but the person he passed it on to, his daughter's class picked them. So he brought it full circle on what they were doing there, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. But yeah, it's not a giveaway. It's something that I truly just want to do. I'll do giveaways, but there's a right time for that. And when I do the rack of the day, that's not the right time for it.
Yeah. And yeah, something I mentioned while you had dropped off, Eric, was you said that, some people would say, hey, that's great. Let's give it to somebody else. I remember Nate won like a Notre Dame autograph. He said, this belongs in Chris's collection. And he sent it over to me. Yep. And I've told you before that, I don't enter the giveaways. We were talking to Che, like, oh, if you tag 3 people, we'll give you these 4 blasters and stuff. Like I get tagged in those 10 times a day. I'll never tag myself or other people in them. But like the rack of the day just meant so much to me that I wanted to keep those items. Like I got the James Conner slab and it came from Kim Flanders. Like that to me, like I don't collect the Steelers. I don't particularly like the Steelers, but that card's going in my PC forever because of what that card, the meaning behind it. I got some Topps update packs, I believe. So I've got twice now and ripped those on the show with my daughter. And like Che said, Shooty Stacks, even I nominate him and then Pokemon cards show up in my house. Like that's just it comes back to the full circle. What you talked about at the beginning is why does this happen? Why like how did I just raise $14,000? How are you over that? It's just the people, man. It's the good people. Like Eric, Shooty Stacks, he's just like he literally came on the Tuesday night show, was talking Pokemon, him, JB, and Larry Legend. I've never opened it's Pokemon. I called it Pokemon. They had to tell me that, and now I've got $300 worth of Pokemon boxes over here to open with my kid because now all of a sudden she loves it. I mean, this is pretty cool looking. I have no idea what this is, but this is cool looking, and so I'm gonna find out, all about this stuff. And he's just nice enough that he's like, hey, you know what? Chris is trying to do this with his daughter. I got these packs. Let's send it right back to him, and which was awesome. And then Larry Legend sent my daughter, I have to thank him too, some paint pens because she paints on cards and stuff, and it's just awesome. And it's just it's absolutely the people.
It's been fun. People have asked me all the time or stated, this is so great what you're doing. I'm having a good time with it, guys. I mean, I really am. And Che, I got to say that card that you just showed there, that's probably one of my favorite cards that I've given away because of the card, but also where I purchased it at. I purchased it at my LCS in Massillon, Ohio, my hometown. I was over there for some family things, and I had some time, and I stopped in, had a little bit of cash in my pocket, and started looking around and saw that, and I said, well, it has to go. So that one meant a lot to me too.
Well, it means a lot to me. I mean, it's like I said, I've got it up there. It's on the shelf with some Satchel Paige, Rod Carew, and J.R. Richards. So if you know me and you know how I collect, it's right there. It's just, it just meant a lot to me. So
that's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about, 2 more topics. We're already 35 minutes in because this is just awesome. So if you guys have some time, it looks like I'm frozen now, right?
No, you're on.
Nope, you're good.
Okay,
you're good.
I'm frozen on my screen, so I'm just going to keep talking.
Yeah, you're good.
You guys talked about the nostalgia, and you talked about the cards that you had. If you guys didn't see the video my dad made like a month ago, I just got him he collects 1960s Pirates. That's where he grew up in Pittsburgh, and that's what he collects. That's what he wants. He's not much of a collector, but that's what he loves. And he makes this video. We're just sitting at his dining room table. Hey, Dad, I just want to take a short video of you about what you like, what kind of cards you like. You show off these videos. He starts telling stories about Bob Friend and listening to him on the school bus on the way home. And his favorite line was like, on a warm summer day, that'll roll all the way to the fence. Or I don't know. Then my buddy Chris Vargo finds I think his grandpa was in the media with them. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he sends my dad this book and an audio CD of Bob Friend calling games from the 60s.
That's
and awesome. It's just incredible. And the BMW Brad Wingate, I think his name is. He sends my dad Smokey Burgess card because he said, I've got all these people and I lost my Smokey Burgess, and that's what he collected. And it was just, the nostalgia of now I get that with my kid, and I'm so excited that my daughter loves to collect. My wife likes to rip. Hopefully Cooper likes to, but I'm so stoked for this opening day race shirt because on Thursday I'm going to take my dad and my daughter to Reds opening day.
It's awesome.
Usually we go, like the whole family goes. It's a big deal. But my son's at that age where he's 2 and he just wants to run away and run from everything. So it's not really safe or fun or fair with everything like clothes. So he's not going. My wife's going to stay home. My mom's going to stay home. My brother goes with us sometimes. It's just me, my dad, and Claire going. I'm so excited about it. So I wanted to segue into, I know, Che, you're a Reds fan. Eric, you're an Indians fan. Eric, what is your Indians preview for this season?
Do you want to go on to the next topic? Because I don't really want to talk about the Indians preview. Listen, the Indians have the lowest payroll in baseball right now. They're below the Pirates. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. But what's crazy to me is all these analysts are picking them to – I saw someone today is picking them to make the playoffs. There's no way. They're going to be 4th in the Central. Jake Bauers, who's starting at first base, he'll be on the waiver wire by June. So Bobby Bradley can come
my
up.
PC, so
hey, I'll give you all of them that I have if you want them.
I would love it.
But I honestly, outside of Bobby Bradley and Jose Ramirez and the pitching staff, there's nobody on that team that's going to take him anywhere this year. And it was forthcoming. I mean, listen, the ownership in Cleveland with the Dolans, they're some of the cheapest people you ever meet. There was no way they were signing Lindor. Rumor has been for the last couple of years that they've been looking at land out in Portland, and it'd be a sad day if that ever happened. So we'll see, but it's going to be a rough year. But hey, I'm going to be there all 162 games with them.
All right, Che, let us know how our Reds doing this year.
Same thing Eric just said, basically. I mean, last year was our chance, and then for whatever reason, we just couldn't hit the ball. I mean, the entire team is in a slump for the entire season, but we didn't do anything in the offseason to really help us. We got Bauer left, but, he was going to be gone. But no real moves, I think, that will make an impact on this year. I mean, we're starting a shortstop who's not a natural shortstop. I mean, Suarez is going to be the shortstop. That's not his position. We're starting a center fielder who's not a natural center fielder. I mean, Senzel's not a center fielder. I mean, he's an infielder. We got a rookie at second base. So up the middle, I mean, we're going to be, I think, handicapped defensively there. We got one left-handed arm, and it's Wade Miley. I mean, 78 and 84, back to the good old Reds. Fourth or 5th in the Central. No dice this year for my Reds, so my expectations are nil.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? What do you think about the Reds?
I'm a little more optimistic, and it has to do with the young youth, but the pitching is just a hot garbage fire. I mean, we've got Luis Castillo, a stud. Sonny Gray is going to be a stud, but we lost Bauer. I mean, DeSclafani was serviceable, but you're trotting Michael Lorenzen back out there, and you're going to use him as a starter. I'm super happy with Amir Garrett and Lucas Sims battling for the closer. I believe Garrett's going to get it or has gotten it. But Raisel Iglesias broke records 2 straight years for the most losses by a reliever. Like, not blown saves. I mean, losses by a reliever. When your closer breaks the record for losses by a reliever, you got some issues. But, they say Suarez lost 15 pounds, and he's raking. He's ready to hit bombs into the Ohio River. Votto is, he's aging, but he's still going to hit, and he's still going to walk. He's still going to get on base. Senzel's finally healthy. I know he's not a center fielder, but Shogo won a Gold Glove in left last year. So if he's starting over Shogo in center, he's got to have something going on. And Nick over here says, don't sleep on Maile. And Tyler Maile was the nicest man. Like, we met him on kids opening day. My daughter's like 2, has this baseball, accidentally drops it, right? He rolls over to his feet. He picks it up. He comes over, says, "This is how you got 10 autographs on here, huh?" And signs the ball, talks to her. I mean, she doesn't understand that, obviously making a joke to dad, and that didn't happen, but signs her baseball, takes a picture with her. Could not have been a nicer human being. But yeah, I mean, he's a young arm coming in. Jonathan India, he's number 5 overall pick.
Yeah, I'm excited about him.
Faith. Jesse Winker, I mean, he's slowly becoming the best hitter on the team. Like him and Suarez and Castellanos and Wright is the best right fielder we've had since Adam Dunn. I mean, Aristides Aquino gets all the hype, and he's like the 8th best guy. Like he shouldn't even be on the team. You hit 8 home runs in 8 games like 3 years ago, so people still talk about you. I got my Mike Leake jersey, which was actually an Adam Dunn jersey, which on opening day will be an Aquino jersey sitting right here behind me. But I think the bats,
jersey.
If we had this year's bats with last year's pitching staff, we'd make some noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think the bats come alive, but we just don't have the arms. Maybe they go to a 6-man rotation or something, because these guys aren't getting past 5 or 6 innings. The bullpen's full of guys I've literally never heard of before. Like I had to Google their names today. Like I will watch. There's 162 games in a year. I will watch probably 158 of them. And there are guys on the 40-man that I don't even know who they are. Like I didn't know you existed until today.
Yeah.
So I say you're under 500, but above the Pirates, right around the Brewers, Cardinals, and the Cubs battle it out for the division. So that rounds out our show, and we always end the show with the best thing we saw this week. I had a special surprise because all 3 of us yesterday, I made the comment, hey, don't use Jimmy Guns because I'm taking Jimmy Guns. You said, nope, I got him. Nope, I got him. Okay, we're all in agreement. And Jimmy, I was going to add him right now to the show. He was going to come on, and he was like, look at me. This is great. Look at all this good stuff, and talk about how awesome it is. Then he messages me right before the show. He's like, man, my wife's getting caught up at work late. I got to watch the kids. I'm sorry, I got to bail. So I said, don't worry. We'll still talk good things about you. Yeah. So one of you guys, Eric, go ahead and tell us what you saw yesterday from Jimmy that you said yourself earlier, what you saw yesterday kind of brought you back and ended the funk. Tell us how you ended that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think everybody that's in the stream saw what was going on yesterday with Jimmy Guns, but I mean, when he puts a tweet out, it's noticeable, right? But when he puts a tweet out that says, hey, I'm going to buy you a PC card off eBay, my little Jimmy, his son's going to pick it. I mean, that's just great. But then as you go through the thread, the first thing I saw was somebody wanted, I can't even tell you the player, but it might have been Sean Murphy, wanted to sign Sean Murphy card off eBay. And somebody came out underneath him and was like, well, I don't have that one, but I have this one. I'm willing to give it to you. And then I go down one more and somebody was looking, I think it was Tom Willis actually, was looking for the Sandberg graded rookie. Somebody said, does it have to be slabbed? I have these ones. So, and then I started going down more. People are purchasing stuff for people. And it was just, it was amazing. That's not what the intent of Jimmy's thread was. But again, it goes back to the start of this conversation. People wanted to do something good for another human being because it made themselves feel good. And I got into it too. I'm not going to say what I purchased, but I did. I found somebody, and I was methodical in who I was looking for. I wanted them to kind of PC the same things I did or have same fan base as I did. And I found somebody, and it was a great fit. And we actually ended up talking for like an hour through Twitter last night. It was really great to, to see it. So people got cards they wanted. People felt good about that. And new friendships were made last night too. And it really just, it brought the hobby to the point that I think we all got back into it, and it just filled my heart with joy last night.
That's what it's all about. I was kind of taking a little bit of a break from Twitter yesterday. I wasn't really active on it. I didn't see the thread until I opened my phone and I was looking at my notifications, and Kyle, Mr. K-Dub, had tagged me in that post because Jimmy had said, I want to buy a PC item for somebody. And Kyle had found a Jamal Mashburn autograph on eBay that was a $10, a $10 autograph, but he knew I would love it. And he's like, I nominate, my friend Ian Sports Cards for this card. And before Jimmy could respond, somebody else had come back and said, I'm sending you the PayPal money right now to get it for him. And, I was prepared to say, no, Kyle, don't do me. But then when I saw what was going on, I just stopped and I was like, that's so awesome. Thank you guys both so much, but it was just amazing to see what it grew into as people nominated other people. Then other hobby members either, like you said, stepped up and said, I've got that one, or I've got one like that. Let me send it to you. Or don't let Jimmy put his money on this because I want to be the one to buy it. And I saw several like that. And man, it was really good. After the pitchforks and the mobs of Thursday and Friday night, to see the hobby rally around a positive cause yesterday. Yep. So it was really good. I mean, it was definitely the best thing I saw.
Yeah, it's something awesome when I come home from work today and I tell my wife, oh, you know what? Guess I got a special guest coming on the show tonight. She goes, is it Jimmy? I was like, yeah, how'd you know? She goes, oh, I saw the thread. So when my wife, who very rarely uses Twitter, she's like, why do all your cards friends follow me? I don't tweet anything fun. I'm like, because you're awesome. They like you. They, the one time you tweet something awesome, you're going to have 50,000 retweets and, 100,000 likes. But, when someone who doesn't really follow the hobby Twitter at all or anything sees that pop up and takes the time to read through it enough to have a conversation with me about it, and it's my wife, like, that something good just happened.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing that I saw too. And I didn't even go through the whole thing. I made it down to today when he made a comment that he said, well, just remember little Jimmy's like 2 or 3 or whatever, and like SpongeBob or something. And he's picking the one, and someone posted a card with a big smiley face. The next person said, hi, little Jimmy. Like, okay, little Jimmy can't read, but that's pretty cool. If I'm picking a card, it's probably going to be some Pokemon with a funny character on it and put a SpongeBob GIF in it or something. I didn't post anything or buy anything, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
it was definitely a good tweet for sure.
Yeah. It was.
So Eric, before we say goodbye, is there anything you missed on, you wanted to add? Ripping for the Cure, Rack of the Day, Indians, maybe Browns, maybe anything you want to talk about. This is your turn to just let us have it.
I just appreciate you guys allowing me to have the time tonight. I really do. And talking about Ripping for the Cure and Rack of the Day, I mean, they're 2 passions of mine, and I'm really looking forward to having them flourish this year. The only thing I want to say is just thank you to everybody that's in the stream. Thank you to everybody that will watch this later on. Everything that you do for me, for this hobby, and just for the community at large is greatly appreciated by so many people. And we're going to find a way to recognize every single person. I truly believe that's going to happen. So just thanks again, guys. I appreciate it.
And thank you for coming on. I mean, I think that the highest compliment I could pay to somebody is to say that you are truly an agent of positive change. And you are, whether it be with your Rack of the Day or the Ripping for the Cure, or just the awareness of Crohn's and colitis. Man, last year I didn't even know. I saw the Ripping for the Cure stuff last year, but I was kind of newer back into the hobby. I didn't put the connection together that you were involved. I didn't even know that you were the driving force behind that until this year came around. But man, just thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for sharing with our audience, who I'm sure they all know about Ripping for the Cure, but kind of a little bit more granular detail. Yeah. And man, just good on you. Keep on what you're doing. You're an inspiration to a lot of us. So we appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I want to correct one thing you said. I'm not the brain. I'm not the brains behind all this. Mindy and Smash really are the ones that are running this whole ship.
Gotcha.
They are. And they'll tell you otherwise, but those 2 are pushing everybody to get this done. So they're the ones that need to be recognized for all this.
And Eric, when you dropped off earlier, I had mentioned that Smash we were talking about getting things sent to us. He just DMs me one day, says, I'm working on the Cooper Cup Optic 2020 Rainbow. He says, do you have this one yet? I said, I'm bidding on one on eBay. He says, stop, because I'm getting it for you, getting it for your son. Then we were talking about how on his birthday, he said, anybody makes donations, I'm matching it dollar for dollar. Smash doing smashy things is what he said. And then today, Mindy goes out and tweets, we've got a 2-person pull-out couch. at the beach, literally any of you DM me, you're welcome to come stay, like be part of our family for a week. This is just how these people are. Like, I don't know that I could ever say, hey, Che, come join me on my family vacation, and just, you know.
They are. And I talked to them on the phone about that. And I mean, they truly want someone to come down and visit them. So if there's anybody here and you have time until April 3rd this week, drive to the Outer Banks. They have a spot for you. And hey, just one thing though, I mean, to talk about that, I think I posted this before, but this is what they do, right?
We talked about that on our show one night. Yeah.
I mean, this card here, Joe Sewell, Tris Speaker, and Satchel Paige, I did nothing to deserve this card, but they found it and they said Eric needs it in his collection. I almost actually went past it because it was in between just a bunch of base cards. I almost didn't even open it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's what it is the hobby. And somebody said the words up in the chat earlier that I think it was Tyler Liddy. I'm not exactly sure because it's way up there 51 minutes ago. That you know, the hobby is the people, not the cardboard. Well, you know, it is the cardboard, but the people absolutely come first.
Yep.
Good people doing good things.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm Chris, Goldline Cards, Che ENS Sports, and Eric Hecker at ES Hecker. Thank you for watching the Cardboard Corner this week. Eric, thanks always for coming on. Ripper for the Cure. We're going to be big advocates and try to push the rack of the day every time we can. Che, as always, it's awesome.
Peace
and
and love.
Go Red Legs.
Thanks guys. Go Tribe.